Mhm.
So, Jim, you can unmute yourself and give us your picture.
This one here with the tiger.
Tiger.
Yeah.
If you go
Two
to our,
tigers.
if you
Three
go to,
tigers.
yeah, if you go to our zoo, there's an area where the glass bends in a little, and this little guy walked right up to the glass, and this tiger walked right up to the glass, and he looked like, boy, you look like a nice morsel to me. And I thought, oh. But it was a fun picture to take, just to see it.
Yeah,
Thank
it
God
is.
there's a nice thick glass there.
Yeah. It's very cute. I like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to moderate tonight. Oh, I see more people are coming.
All right. Owner is connected.
Yeah. There we go.
So this meeting is supposed to be interactive. You know, we want everybody to feel free to join in, comment, share. You know, that's one of the things that I really miss about being on Zoom is not having the conversations and all the little chit chats and really getting to know people better, what they do when they're not doing photography, how they spend their days. So I'm hoping that we can cultivate some of that in our meetings.
Well, our workshops provide good opportunity for that interaction, as it was last Saturday. So
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
one good opportunity to take advantage of.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that was fun.
Now we got Jim Bauer coming. That's good. And is that Leonid? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
No, Leonid.
Leonid.
Mhm.
And then we have Adele. Is it Adele?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then we have Chris masquerading as owner. Oh, you're muted, Chris.
I don't understand this stuff.
Well, we depend upon Jeff Klug to keep us informed. So Jeff just told us that when you click on your own little headshot there, 3 little dots come up in the right-hand corner, and that's how you can change your name. And we've got Paul Mortal tonight.
Yeah. Getting a pretty good crowd.
Yes, we do. There we go. Chris has got his name up. Jim Bauer, you can unmute yourself. Everybody can unmute and feel free to.
This way I can sneeze or something without bothering everybody.
That's okay. If you sneeze, that's okay. We're not going to catch your germs on Zoom.
That's
So you can sneeze. Well, welcome everyone. Glad to see some friendly faces. And I hope we all have some images to show. So Jim Kurowski, do you have anything tonight to show?
I can pull some up. I was just going to kind of sit back for a little bit. So if you want to come back to me, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. Leonie, do you have some images to show this evening?
Not at the moment. Sorry.
Not at the moment. How about Adele? Do you have something to show?
No, I don't. I'm still pretty much a baby photographer getting used to doing digital. So I treat
Okay.
this as a huge learning experience. Most of the time I pay attention just to my composition, and I don't do any editing really, other than maybe cropping an image. So this is a learning experience on both ends because a lot of people do change their photos with different software. So
Do you have a favorite type of photography you participate?
yeah, I like to travel, so it's whatever catches my fancy.
Mhm.
I like to sit in my garden and just take pictures of birds and bees and flowers. um, Anything that looks interesting.
Well, that's a pretty good start, I'd say.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have some images to show this evening?
I was just looking for something.
You're not doing well, Jane.
Jane, I've got some I can show right away while everybody else is
Hey, Steve.
looking.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
let me just get set up here a minute.
We all struggle with, screen sharing, so don't be afraid to give it a whirl.
We should all be getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, until they change it.
Yeah, until they change it again. But
All right.
been doing it pretty much.
So that I can learn on screen sharing.
Watch, I talk and now I'll have problems when I try to screen share.
I've got the screen share. I got to get to the picture I want to be at. Hang on a minute.
Jane, you could cue me up after Steve.
Okay.
Put me in the queue as well. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got photos from the orchid show.
Yeah, and you could put me in too now. So now there's a lot of us.
Yep, I got some too.
She just happened to pick the only people that were right.
Well,
Like
I
a game
was
of
right.
Battleship, right?
So, are you seeing my screen?
Yes,
Steve, we are.
Yeah.
All right. So as you all recall from last month, I promised I'd be showing travel pictures during these. So do you remember where I was last month? No, that's okay.
I remember
Bryce,
but Bryce Canyon, yes.
right.
So I'm still in Utah. This is a day or two before Bryce Canyon. We were traveling we left Moab. We had been to Arches and we stopped at this state park called Goblin Valley. And this is kind of a picture from the parking lot. It's not a very big state park, but it's kind of cool. It's got kind of interesting formations. There's a short hike into the valley and there's no trails. You just wander around looking at all these formations.
Yeah, I was trying to get an idea of the scale, but then I see these couple of small people right almost at smack dab in the middle there.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's how big it is.
Wow.
Right there.
Wow.
So it's not, massive, but we spent a few hours there. So we wandered down into the valley, and there's all these goblins or hoodoos, I guess they're called. I think they're formed a bit more by water erosion than wind. They're nice and smooth.
Are actual rocks sandstone or what is the rock?
I think it's all sandstone, yeah. Underneath like granite and all kinds of other layers out there in Utah. Everything's different layers. So here's a couple of them up close.
That's nice. Maybe a little bright in the right-hand corner.
Down here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I see that. This one seemed familiar to me.
What did you think it was?
Wisconsin.
Oh, very good.
It's a little more accurate up here, not so much on the west side, but and just, a bunch of different. Where'd my
Looks like a turtle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where'd my nose go? My face go? Hang on a second. So it's another, like, cut some out of here. But I thought this was kind of interesting. My first impression was a nose, but it's actually kind of more of a half a face. It's got an eye and
Some of you might not be old enough, but it kind of reminds me of Jimmy Durante.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
maybe. Let's see what
You're
else.
talking to the right group, Joe.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna cut back to where I wanted to be here. Well, that's in there. Then this was actually up on top outside the valley, looking from the parking lot the opposite direction. They call it Tabernacle Rock. It's kind of a Utah thing, I think. But and then I don't know what happened to this picture. It's not. I don't think it's the greatest image, but it's called the Three Sisters. It's a pretty popular photograph from this area. And I'm not sure what happened to it. It got kind of funky. So after we left Goblin Valley, we stopped at Hickman Natural Bridge, which is part of Canyonlands National Park, and took a pretty long hike up a hill to get to a plateau. And as we got to the top, these clouds just kind of appeared almost suddenly over these rocks.
That's, I love the composition on that.
Yeah, that's really nice. I like that.
I think I've tried this in black and white too, but I like the color one better. And then here's the Hickman Natural Bridge as we came to it. It was a pretty good, we spent a couple hours here, I think. It was a pretty good hike because you had to hike up a few hundred feet to get up to this area. I remember we left the parking lot, there was a young couple pushing her mother, I think, in a wheelchair. And it's like, I'm not sure this is a wheelchair accessible thing. 3 minutes later, they were walking back towards us. Quickly realized mom's not going up there in a wheelchair. And then this is just once you go through the bridge on the other side. We were there kind of little later afternoon, so the sun was getting lower.
And you had the place to yourself?
It wasn't a very crowded place. There were people there, but it was not that crowded that you couldn't get pictures, without people in it. Even the Goblin Valley area, there were, a few hundred people there. It wasn't crazy busy. But I think this is like on the outside of Canyonlands. It's not like in the main visitor center area. So we did have a lot of time, but there was probably, there were 50 to 100 people, maybe not even 50, maybe not 100 that we saw on the trails. Because you'd get to people and you'd say, "Are we there yet?" And go, "No, you're halfway there." So that's another day in our trip to Utah.
I was gonna say that, Goblin Park, that there's another park kind of on that order in northwestern Nebraska, south of, Rapid City. And it's called Toadstool Geologic Park.
Hmm.
And, that's quite, unique too, and not super heavily traveled.
And where it was south of where?
Rapid City, South
Rapid
Dakota.
City. Oh,
You go
okay.
straight south from
Yeah,
there
right.
into Nebraska.
Yeah, the Goblin State Park wasn't real busy at all. It was not too bad compared to some of the other national parks we visited.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Hopefully, I gave everybody else time to find their pictures.
Roger, I think you're next, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's see now. See if I can do this right. So. Everyone seeing hockey players?
Yes.
Okay, good. We went to Concordia University hockey outing, and I was practicing using some of my motor drive capabilities, and I was able to catch this face off right before the puck hit the ice, and I thought it was pretty neat. Now you got spots in front of the black pants that are spots on the windows. If you look hard, just through the bottom of the name plate on the ref is the top of the glass. So half the picture is going through the glass. But I think it's pretty cool to get the puck in the shadow of the puck.
Yeah.
Have you tried the reflection removal in Lightroom or at all, or Photoshop to see if that'll take it out?
No, I haven't. I should try that.
You should. It works really well sometimes and not so well others, but when it
Yeah.
works, it works.
Yeah.
It just sort of looks like they're outside maybe and it's snowing.
Yeah. Another one that I kind of like just because it's kind of humorous. The guy out front's got a stupid stance with and he's laughing, but the goalie isn't so amused.
It's flying right at him.
Yeah. And again, you can see the support where the glass is. And I tried taking that out, and then you got a really weird looking hockey stick because of the parallax there.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if you like it. I've been leaving the information on my pictures up on top that I did this at 1250 50th of a second, and ISO 2500. So I'm using Topaz to denoise and sharpen. And when they start out, they're a little rough, but they clean up nice. And here's another one with the goalie ready for the puck.
Yeah, that's good.
Like that one.
Yeah. And then if we move on, I went to my grandson is in gymnastics, and he went to the Harley Classic. Was it last weekend? And he's getting better. Unfortunately, the judges were on the other side, so he wasn't facing me. But I got him working on the pommel horse, and I think this is kind of a nice shot of it.
Very nice.
And all of these, they look a lot better if I use the lens effect and blur out the background. Otherwise, it looks really busy. There's all kinds of stuff behind the athletes. And here he's up on his rings. He's young enough that the coach doesn't get more than about 2 feet away in case he falls. And this one, I think, turned out pretty nice, but I don't like the expression on the coach. I'd almost remove her.
Don't they have a smile effect in Photoshop?
I don't know, they might. And then I went on to the tabletop. And I had a little white tent there that I put down a black cloth and laid a couple feathers on to make them more interesting. I sprayed them with water. And then I did a focus stacking on it. And so this is a combination of approximately 20 images.
Wow.
And it stays pretty sharp from one end to the other.
It does.
And I even have most of the down sharp. It's really tough to get it so it doesn't look like it's out of focus. So
Looks really nice, Roger. I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice
I,
one.
I kind of like that.
It
Yeah.
looks better than what it looked like physically.
And then Ken came up with this feather. Was this Jesse's?
Yep.
Yeah. What kind of bird is this from? A pheasant?
Hobby Lobby.
Oh,
I don't know. It was just in a box of all
a Hobby
feathers.
Lobby peacock. But most of the down on this came out well. This is only 2 shots combined, and it worked out well. But the I have the lighting so bright that the black cloth is not dark enough to blacken out. So when I tried to blacken out the background, I ended up with a lot of trouble, especially when the lighter parts are about the same shade as some of the down. but it's still a nice image. Little seems a little fuzzy here at the tip of the feather. Let's look at that. Yeah. So, and then I did one other feather.
Very nice.
What?
Very nice.
Yeah, I got some brighter light on it so that it would the water droplets would show up better. And this is about a combination of about 20 images. And I took it a 60th of a second. And even though I have multiple images combined here, I was hand holding the whole time. So the software was able to line up the misaligned images to create the final image.
And what software was that?
For stacking.
Helicon Focus.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeff Klug has started using it, and he's become a believer in it because it works pretty slick. It's real quick, and it doesn't take up huge amounts of memory. And I like it because it's got some nice editing options that if I wanted to do something like take a picture of a flower and purposely have parts of it out of focus, I can select which image is used for that part of the flower. So I can use ones that have a softer focus for that part of the flower. And but most of the time, I go for sharp all the way through. I haven't advanced enough to do selective focusing, I guess. And this was one of the geodes that Jeff Klug brought. And this is actually a stack of about 80 images. And if I zoom way into this cavity, you can see that it's sharp right into the bottom. And you can see some of the colors and patterns in here.
Great abstract.
Yeah.
Roger, you shot that on a tripod, that one?
No.
Handheld, wow.
Yeah, handheld. Kind of bracing myself, but yeah. And again, 60th of a second. So with 80 images, that's going to be probably 2 seconds of trying to hold it steady or so, or more than that. Yeah, well, yeah, about 3 seconds holding it steady to get the stack. So that's what I have to
Very good.
share today.
I think I'm in the queue, so let me jump in here. How do I get out of this? I haven't seen this pop up before. Well, this didn't happen last time.
Just hit cancel.
Okay, get this bunch out of the way. These are a few I've been working on over the winter, just playing with a few things. Basically took it to black and white and then opened up the little peak of red. It's not as clear as what Roger was showing. I didn't do a focus focus on it, but I might have to try that. But any comments on it? I'm welcome to
Well,
comment.
with the focus you have there, you're making it kind of highlight and emphasize the buds, especially with the
Right.
red one.
Mhm. This was a tabletop that I did at home. I didn't bring this to the tabletop adventure the other day, but that's something from my wife's background. She's from Thailand.
Does that person have a name?
Uh, she probably does, but I can't pronounce it. Sorry about that. This is in Chicago, a little old street light that I just bumped into hanging off the side of a building.
Yeah, it's very, very attractive.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
the different colors.
and the buildings behind, it's just nice.
Yeah.
There's nice texture in the glass too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the bottom tip of the lamp on your image on your screen?
Yeah. Well, the pictures, I got to get this thing out of the way. Can you see it better now? No. Well, anyway, that's what I got. I did do a little bit of cropping, of course, to get the layout here.
Yeah. I'm a little confused in that I see that the wall you have perfectly straight up and down, but the lamp's cocked just a little bit.
Well,
It lines up with that black line though from the building behind.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe I got to sit in my
I
chair.
think it's off a little bit down here, but that's the way it was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now it's locked up on me. What's going on here?
Well, at least it picked a nice picture to lock up on.
There we go. Anybody know where this is?
Looks like a pier that's disappearing.
Sheboygan.
Okay.
There were a dozen birds on this thing, and just all of a sudden they took off and one was left. And I got him. But this was actually a couple of years ago when the lake was exceptionally high. I think nowadays that the water level here would probably be about 1.5 feet lower than what it is on this particular picture.
I like that picture.
Yeah, it's yeah, I've done a print of this in black and white. It turned out pretty good, I thought. Now, recently I purchased a filter set for Lightroom. It's called a black filter, and it's got like 8 or 9 different settings. But this was a picture that I took years ago that I recently modified, and I found it kind of interesting. Something to do on a cold winter night.
You know what I would like on that would be to saturate those yellow,
Yeah.
just
Even
make a little more pop to it for me.
Okay.
And then you should paint it, Joe.
I'm sorry?
Then you should use this as an example and you should paint it.
Okay.
Watercolor it or whatever you do. paint?
This one's in a little cafe in Croatia, taken at night when the crowds dissipated. Um,
Is
this
the street wet or are those stones naturally that reflective?
There were street lights behind it as well, but that's kind of the way they were. It wasn't rain, but those things get a lot of wear and tear and a lot of polish, I guess, over the years.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way it was.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like that.
Matter of fact,
Yeah.
about 3 hours before I took this picture, I think this is a table we had just almost under the lamp.
Do you remember what you ate?
As a matter of fact, I do. Croatia, surprisingly, is we were on the coastline, but a lot of the food is Italian. So I had an Italian dish that evening. Uh, it might have been a lasagna, but it was fantastic. Should have bought the wine was exceptional too. Well, this is out in Colorado years ago. We were on this is one of the very first trips I ever took with a professional, taking us in the backwoods in Colorado. Uh, it's not a fantastic picture, but I do like the composition with the trees and the building and the two cattle. And the little road meanders up through here. But still remember that day. Beautiful day.
Yeah, it's got a lot of nice elements and
Yeah.
nice green colors.
Yep. This is another one, a picture that I modified with that black filter I was telling you about. It totally shifted all the colors. This actually was a blue flower.
Wow.
And but it's just a hoot. You can do just a phenomenal amount of things with these different filters that are out there.
So what's that package called?
Uh, I'd have to look it up for you. It's in Lightroom. Um, uh, it's a what are those things called? I'll get back to you on it. This is not too far down the pike. Cedar Creek, a nice little foggy morning. Um, Probably about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a scene you might see in Africa or something.
Yeah, might want to see a crocodile or two pop out of your
Yeah.
mouth. Well, I could probably put one in there for you. Again, that black filter I was telling you about, totally shifted colors again. These were that color, but all the leaves here have been modified extensively, color-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Know where it is? Rock Island,
Yeah.
off of Door County, off of Washington Island up there. But I really like these lines leading back here.
Yeah.
I just noticed this piece right here. I don't know if that's a rock or what, but I might want to take that out. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Over here by this vase. And finally, it's an old church in Ireland. Just a little black and white. I don't have that particular picture, but on the inside of that building on the right, the walls are literally covered with slate. I had never seen that before, but Really quite unusual.
Huh.
And
Hey,
that's
Joe, go
What
back.
you do when you have
Joe,
bad mortar?
yeah,
go back one image real quick.
this one.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. If you ever want like a second photo out of this, you probably could make a portrait crop of the
Th-
house and the road. So like the left side of the picture. Yeah.
Getting rid of this part on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
far right. Yeah, I see that.
Just because the road curves in
Yeah.
that piece. So
Mm-hmm.
just a thought if you ever wanted, also to have a portrait, I like
Yeah,
having options as far
I
as
see it.
printing and
Yeah.
composing.
Well, the odd thing is about this island, I don't know how the tracks got here because there are no cars allowed on it, but there they are. I think they probably have small utes or something that get around to haul things back to the lighthouse, which is a good hike at the other end of the island.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for me.
So very good.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Get out.
Who is up next?
I can show mine.
I don't think yeah, they're
You can do that, Ian, and then we've got Jim Bauer.
Okay. Give me a second here. Share this. Should be seeing the pink flower right now. And now you should be seeing orchids in a car.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is part of the orchid show, which is going on right now at Chicago Botanic. One of the rooms, there's two rooms, two greenhouses, I should say, of orchids, plus the hallways, plus a smaller room and a larger room. But this was probably my favorite area of it. I think I like the orchids the best in this room. Plus, you have the car here, so it's pretty neat. So I took a couple different angles of this. It was kind of fun because it was like, oh hey, last year I took a lot of car photos and a lot of flower photos, and here I got to do both at the same time.
So this takes place at the Tuk Tuk.
What was that?
This takes place at the Tuk Tuk they had last year, was it?
I don't remember, to be
yeah,
honest.
I think you're right. Yeah. This
Yes, they did have that one tuk tuk or they had a couple of them, I think.
Hmm.
One was outside and one was inside.
And then this year I got to shoot the orchids with. I've bought two new lenses now. In the last like 6 months, I got a new macro lens, and I also bought the lens that I'm using for my webcam tonight, a 35 millimeter f1.2 lens. And what I did was I brought it just for the hell of it, but I took some pictures with it on my camera, and then I also brought a 10 millimeter extension tube and shot with that. Um, and I pretty much just shot it wide open, and I just got some interesting effects with it because it's such a shallow depth of field, and the extension tube like really like starts to distort things. So like this looks like it's almost moving, even though it was stationary, or it kind of gave like this kind of like glow effect that you get of this, almost like a lens baby would do, but without the drawbacks of having to use manual focus. I was still able to use my autofocus. Or like this was with my true macro. This was my new 100 millimeter macro with the 2x teleconverter, which means I don't have to get nearly as close, which is kind of nice. There's bunches of orchids.
Now, on this orchid, I like it, but you know what I don't like is that kind of white stem. Yeah.
They're really bright. Yeah, I probably could
Yeah.
mask that down a little bit. That was the hottest spot when I was editing.
Yeah.
Isn't some kind of mesh on the background?
No, that's just the 35. This was shot with the 35 1.2. So the depth of field is so shallow that that's just how it blurs out.
Interesting. Gender's like a net or something.
Mm-hmm. No, it was just a bunch
Like
of
vertical lights and horizontal lights.
bunch
Yeah,
of other
interesting.
greenery in the background. This one, I think this was actually taken in the desert garden. So on top of it, two of the greenhouses are orchids, and then one of them is desert stuff. So this was a small flower there. More orchids. That was with the 35. This was with the macro. And this is probably the only like truly straight on one that I took. I've just learned like orchids, they look symmetrical and everything until you get home, and then you're like, they have weird twists and turns and they're slightly off. And when you get close to being symmetric, but not perfectly symmetric, a lot of times it doesn't work. So that's why a lot of these you see at different angles and stuff like this. But this one I just took straight on. All sorts of different types of orchids. Soft ones. They've got different colored walls. So sometimes the ones that are in front of the walls, you get neat colors in the background. This was in the desert again. This was in the desert. And these are tiny little, like smaller than a dime flowers. So this is where the 2x teleconverter comes in really handy. And then these last couple or these three here again are with the well, this is with the macro lens, so that's why everything's sharp and crisp right up at the front. But then when I switch back to 35 in the extension tube, I get this almost like painterly look. It looks like I was doing motion blur, but I was holding it steady and it was sharp and focused. But again, the way that it messes with it, it almost like dirties up the image and gives it this like painterly look.
This one I like a lot.
Thanks. And again, no textures or anything. It's just the drop off of such a shallow depth of field. And then I got just three left here. This was in the desert. Almost like a mini little palm tree, it looks like, but it's like 3 inches tall or something. Bunny ears. And then the last thing, I missed the tabletop because that was my daughter's birthday party that day. But I've been doing a little bit of playing around with just toys and stuff around the house. And she got these mini little rubber, they're like an inch tall figurines, and she gave them to her friends as party favors. And they were all like motivational encouragement figurines. And I thought this one was funny, the little dumpster fire saying, "It's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine." And I grabbed some like that crafting paper stuff. It's like foam, squishy foam paper stuff. That's what I use as a background. We have a whole ton of that stuff that we've had for years since she was little, and I use that a lot of times for backgrounds because it's got a nice texture to it to stay smooth. It doesn't have much reflection, and I have it in like 10 different colors, 12 different colors. So just find one that matches your subject well or contrasts it well.
What kind of light did you use for this?
Window light with a diffuser in the front of it. I just shot it literally like, I don't know, 3 feet to my left on a bookcase that I have here, but I've with decent window light. But I did have to use the diffuser. I initially shot these without the diffuser, and you could see like hot spots and reflections and stuff. So that's when I busted the diffuser out real quick. That's it.
Very good.
Nice. Very nice.
All right, I'm set, I hope. Let's see how this goes.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go with this one. Share. Okay. All right, you should be seeing a miniature train setup.
Yes.
Next time I'll be more ready for pictures that could be critiqued more than this, but this, I just wanted to show these. It's kind of two hobbies in one. It's the setting up and making miniature scenes and photography. So this is actually an N scale train setup, and N scale is 1/160th of for the size, and which means a person in this setup is about 1/4 inch tall. So there's challenges both in making the models, weathering them, and then taking photos because your camera is giant size. So let's see once here.
So that's smaller than an HO then, Jim, huh?
It is, it's about half of the HO size. Okay, is there any reason this is not going to the next photo? Let's see once. Oh yeah, it should. Okay, here we go. All right, I'll go kind of fast through these. They're all very, very similar. The challenge in all this, one of the challenges, I like the weathered cars. You don't see too many really clean train cars. What you're seeing here too is usually I flip these pictures. The back of my layout has a mirror on it, about a foot up from the bottom, so that you kind of lose track of what's there. Of course, when you're taking photographs, you end up with backwards photos, which are easy enough to flip. I got a main street, I got lights, there's people in the buildings where I can put them in. They've been lit up. As far as taking pictures, a 35 millimeter camera with a lens on it is too big to get in the scene. You can use tools like mirrors. I've grabbed a couple of my wife's handheld mirrors and set them in the street and taken the picture down from the top off the mirror, and that's another place. That way I can get into smaller places. But something I enjoy doing. Everything is kit built. Everything is handmade or homemade. The sidewalks are painted and scored with a razor blade, and I do a lot of weathering on my stuff. Just because nothing is shiny new. The buildings this age just aren't that shiny new. The truck, this back was solid. I cut that so it'd be open.
Did you put the name on it too?
I did put I did put the name on that. Oops, I can't get back to it. There it is. Yes, Bauer, yeah. It was the Bauer Cafe originally, and then I ended up making it Sandy's Cafe because my wife, this is one of the buildings they actually had built an interior for it, which it doesn't pay because it's so small and you can't, it's hard to see in the buildings from wherever you're looking, that it almost doesn't pay. You could put crumpled up paper inside, and people's minds would kind of show what they think it is. So this is like Main Street, and off of Main Street there's some train yards. I've got train station here, an old steam engine pulling, and it's being helped with a diesel pulling passenger cars, maybe for some kind of train ride. Here we're cemetery, little casket. This stuff, they do sell this stuff, but now remember, this guy's like 1/4 inch tall, and gosh, you're working with the tweezers trying to get him glued down where he stands, and you look back at him again, and he's laying on his side, or oh, geez. So it's kind of fun. Oh, and occasionally when people are sitting around or something, or if I don't want to vacuum up, I'll set them somewhere, and they end up where they don't belong. So fences are made, homemade, screens and stuff like that. Little garbage men, tires. you can pick up stuff all over. These are metal things I got at Menards. The cat equipment. So that was kind of interesting.
How big is your table, Jim?
It is only about 4 by 8, and there's a lot of stuff on it for that
Yeah,
size table. So, oh, here, now what you try, I'm finally to the point where I can go back into it and add little things like this. Here's the bear, here's the owner of the cabin up the tree, and happens to be a bear here, which chased him up the tree. So it's like, yeah, okay.
A lot of the weathering you've done really adds some realism to this.
Yeah, I like it. So many people, you go to a model train show and it's all shiny brand new, and it just isn't. I tend to probably over weather some of this stuff, but it's like, well, okay.
The car lights are on there?
Yeah, some of these, I got about 12 cars that actually headlights and taillights light up. That car is about 3/4 of an inch long, maybe. Oh, and now you can see in this restaurant, this one I spend a lot of time on this. I got booths down the front with tables. There's booths down that side with tables. Then there's a bar table and across the back, and the chefs stand behind there with the bar stools. And this guy here, I think it's this guy. Yeah, he's in white. He's holding 2 pizzas. He's got 2 pizzas, a piece in each. Oh yeah, here's one and there's the other. He's walking out that way. So it's like, in the end, you don't see that unless you really get down here, which is another thing that's interesting. As I'm putting this stuff together, I'm always taking photographs because I find you can see more. Oh, here we go. Here's the actual trains running a little fast. I found if you take a video at a speed like that and you slow it down, it looks more realistic. But when you're building it, I'll always take photos and I'll always go in and I'll zoom in on the photo and I'll look for things that just aren't right. One of the things I really don't like are the lines in the street are masking tape, and they got thickness to them. And in all of the photographs, you can see it looks like masking tape. And this road here is really bad. So I go back in and I'm going to probably cut some stencils and spray this on, and hopefully it'll look a little better. Of course, being at my camera store here, there's nothing in it. It's just an old building. It's totally empty, and I'm going to have to see what I can do if I can get some tripods or something in the window and get some people there, because that was fun. All right, we're back to him. The train crossing lights signal that the trains go by, and when a train's approaching the signal, there's a little infrared, bounces the light back and forth and starts the signals blinking. So, okay, in fact, this I kind of like. They're blinking. I like the light that's coming off of the light pole. And again, too, you see these cars are backwards. I got to flip this. It's easier with the mirror in some cases. It's just it's hard to get around it and take pictures. But so it's kind of neat. It's people really get into that, and
Bear there crossing the road.
the what?
You got a bear up there crossing.
Yes, I do. But, I didn't realize that. Yes, that's from up by the cabin. There was like 4 of them up there, and I didn't know. And he ended up in. I put him in the intersection, so it's like, well, he'll be there for a little while. But yeah, okay. So let me move on here. Okay, this guy in the truck fixing the light. That light was out, so I figured I'd make some cones and put it around. Here's what I mean with the lines. Masking tape is just not too good. But when you stand, from a distance, it looks better. Everything you get in there close, and you start to see a lot of stuff. This guy down here has a little welder, and it's a little blue LED, and it on and off flashes just like a welder uses. So that's kind of cool. go on.
So when these little things are flashing like that,
Yeah.
how are you controlling that light? I mean,
Well, that light you can actually buy a welding kit for for train scales. In fact, now with the more popular LEDs everywhere, and everybody having them, with the model railroading, it just went crazy. You can get police cars with the lights, strobe lights, red and blue strobe lights. So you can buy any kind of light, and you can have it do anything you want. So it's come a long ways.
where do you get the power from though?
I have a bunch of different, depending on what it is. Street lights are probably, they could come off a 12-volt supply. So you know the little adapters you get with everything you buy. And as your power tools wear out, you keep the adapter and you throw the thing away. I use mostly those. And it's all done underneath. You plug it in, and I got a 3-watt per power supply for the street lights. And of course, I plug that in with an Alexa switch app, so I can say, Alexa, turn on the street lights. And she says, okay, and turns on the street lights. And then another thing I found with the lights, the LED lights, is the tape lights. I've got a tape light that you can program it. And how can I explain this? You can you can program about a 5-minute cycle. So what I did is it starts out in the morning. I have just a slight pink color going, and it gets brighter and brighter and yellow, and then it starts getting brighter and brighter, and I can have it around noon. I get it daylight, and then I keep going with this thing, and at the end it goes to blue hour. I got a blue hour, and then it goes dark. So and that you can just keep that thing cycling. So it's kind of neat. It's in fact, this is close to the blue hour, where that's from the light doing that. So so that's kind of neat. More again with LEDs and all of that. So anyway, okay, here's one more.
Jim, how do you have time for photography?
Yeah, I don't. I need to get back out there. I need to do some more. So
This is
I
a
think we saw
full-time project here.
it is.
How long have you been building this?
Well, no, I started this years ago with my son. He has now been in the Air Force for 20 years almost. So so I've revisited it several times, so it's always just, okay, I can improve on this, I can fix that, I can add this, I can do that. So that's pretty much it. So next time I'll bring pictures that can actually critique.
Well, this was wonderful. I enjoyed it very much.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of work. Holy cow.
Oh, yeah. Huge amount of work.
It's fun. I actually, it's relaxing for me. I can sit down and take a building and sit down and just work on it on the countertop in the kitchen, which Sandy doesn't appreciate, but yeah, so it's fun. So
Very good.
thank
Very
you.
good.
This reminds me of some show that someone was making railroad layouts like this, and what he was doing is taking photographs of actual buildings and using those to create surfaces, to create scaled 3D printed models.
Yes, yes,
Buildings.
yep. You can really get into it.
Yeah.
A lot of YouTube videos on that.
So who wants to go next?
I can go next if you like.
Sure.
All right, let me see if I can get this to work. I also went down to the orchid show, and when I went down there, I kind of did some things that I normally don't do. I know Mike Moats is a big believer in F22 or sometimes greater. And I thought, all right, I'm going to experiment with that. But I also brought down a light, which I had gobos, or those filters that sit in front of a flashlight that can put certain light in different areas for me. So this was an example here of where the light is making some parts whiter, even though they were bluer, because these were actually lit up by sort of a bluish light. And again, to human beings looking at it, it looks like normal stuff, but to a camera, it looks really blue. So anyway, this was the first one that I started playing around with. Um, Here's another one that I took. I started thinking, was I going to try to do some artistic things, sort of like this, to get colors and flowers. Now I saw this one, I thought, well, if it's a little busy, should I crop it? I can't tell you that I think this is better. I don't know if it is. So, I mean, you later on could tell me if you think it's better, but I kind of wonder if this one further away gives you more sense of scale.
I like that one. Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I started playing around with that again, trying to do some things with lights, F22. Uh, and again, this was all experimental because I normally don't shoot that way. I usually tend to shoot with a lower F range, and then you get more of the blurred stuff. But some of these, in order to make some of them work, because it was very dark in the. Let me step back. If you ever go to this orchid show, they have flowers in the beginning where they're sort of in hallways, and then there's a greenhouse or two greenhouses further out. And like an idiot, I've never been there, so I don't know there's a greenhouse with brighter lights. So I'm kind of shooting a lot of these in dark areas. The good news was there was no wind. So I could sit here for 2 seconds to get this kind of a light, where it would be very difficult to do that in the greenhouses because they have some fans blowing in some areas, and that makes it a lot trickier to take photos. So this was kind of nice because this was in a dark area, but again, I used my little flashlight that was able to sort of lighten up some of the areas that would have been dark, like down into the flower. I could give it a little bit of brightness there that I couldn't have done without that.
Were you working from a tripod?
Yes, anything.
Okay.
I tried to do almost everything until I got into the greenhouse, and then there were times where I had to go to um, a wider lens, and you really couldn't use a slow shutter speed because these flowers would blow back and forth, and then they would screw up. So I usually had to go in there and say, okay, let's just do this handheld. This was still one, I think, in a cooler area, I mean, in a darker area with no wind. And there were a couple others. I don't know what this is. And I don't even know what that dark purple thing is in there. But I thought, well, okay, I forgot to take that one out. And I also wanted to try some things at different angles just to see what it would be. And again, trying it at f/22, you really get a fair depth of field. It's not infinite because I was shooting a lot of these with a 70 to 200. So to 70 to
the lighting
200,
here.
even with f/22, when you're close, you maybe only have 6 or 8 inches of depth. That's it. Now, this one was one in the area where there was a lot of movement to the flowers, so I couldn't put a tripod with this. This I had to take a much quicker shutter speed, and I actually had to shoot about 4 or 5 in a row just because, when they're moving, there is a time when they're at the bottom of their move and they sort of pause for a second as they move back up, and they're at the top of their pause and they move back down. So if you can catch them in there, you can actually have a shutter speed that might not be perfect while they're moving, but at those edges, you can get a little more stopping of the movements.
That one's very nice. I like that.
Oh,
Oh, I like
thank
this
you.
one too.
Here's the weird part.
Question,
When I
sorry, quick
first
question
saw
about
this is like hippie days they're doing there, right? Because this is supposed to be like the love-in with the bug that you saw, the VW bug and whatever. And I looked at this and I went, oh, those are really pretty colors on there. And I went, wait a minute, that looks like a paintbrush. So those I don't think are real. And you can
Yeah,
tell
they
probably by the
painted
one
on a
at the
whole
bottom that is
whole
not
bunch in that
true.
room.
Yeah. And I didn't see all of that. Here was one that didn't have the paint on it. So I took a picture of that one. I did go into the desert area and I was trying to do some close-ups, but I didn't really find a lot there. But here's the only one that I really kind of liked when I took there. I kind of like this one. And again, this is shot at f/22, but then it really makes it prickly looking because there's
It is
prickly
prickly.
things everywhere. So anyway, I just wanted to show you those as something a little different. Uh, by the way, I don't know if anybody else is going to show things, but before we leave, one of the things I talked to Jeff and a couple of other people. I don't know if you're aware of this, but AI will actually do analysis of your photos. And I can show you one that I had done and show you what it does and how it works. Now, again, I know some people hate AI, get it. And I also know there's some downfalls that they can use your AI picture for teaching their models something else. They won't copy it, but they may go ahead and use it for training. So again, if you put something in there, don't be upset if they're using it for that. But if you want a little later, I can show you what that looks like.
Sure. Let's see how we go here.
Okay.
If not tonight, we got another night.
I also comment, it's interesting to see the different photos you got because you and I were there the same day.
Yes.
And that is definitely the difference you get of you were shooting the Mike Moats f/22 like you were saying,
right,
versus like mine were all f/1.2 and nothing above f/8.
right.
Predominantly 1.24 for mine. So just it shows you like the different styles you can get with different settings. All of mine were handheld, all yours predominantly tripod. So
Right.
just different ways you can approach the same subjects.
And what's, again, I've never shot f/22 on most flowers.
Right.
Because I hadn't really tried to follow the Mike Moat system.
Right, you're trying his way.
But I thought, you know what? I've never tried it. It's time to do something different. So that's what I did that day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
you
learned
guys
a lot. I
focus-
would do some things differently if I went back, but at least it was fun to try it.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, I was out there trying this crazy 35 1.2 with an extension tube. I'd never tried that.
Oh,
So,
man.
yeah.
That's
The
pretty
pink flower
limited.
that you showed there at the end, that's actually the same flower I showed in my images. That was the same pink one. So just like totally different settings, you get a totally different image.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a question. How do you guys focus on the flowers when they're moving? And
I use autofocus. I use autofocus with the spot tracker. So I just put the spot
tracker?
where I compose my shot with where I put the spot. So if I want the focus to be in the top right, I'm going to put my spot in the top right, and then I just line my camera up so that spot hits the flower. And if the flower's wiggling around, because my way of shooting them is to shoot faster. So all my shots are 1/250th of a second, 1/500th of a second, sometimes 1/4000th of a second if there's enough light, because I'm shooting it more wide open f-stops. So as that flower wiggles, as soon as I hit the shutter, it's going to be sharp because I'm shooting fast enough. I capture it with no problem with the motion. If you're shooting f/22, it's a much harder deal because you're probably shooting much slower. Now you were using light, Jim, so that also helps you to counteract that. I didn't shoot with any light.
I will say I've seen some people suggest that you put it in manual focus and burst shoot, but moving slightly back and
rocking
forth in order to get one picture out of maybe 20 that is perfectly in focus, and then you go home and you're happy.
If you have a mirrorless camera, at least, because their autofocuses are so good these days though, and you put it on continuous autofocus, it'll probably track it for you.
Yeah, that's what I used in tracking autofocus worked better than static.
Yeah. Static, what's going to happen is you're going to hit focus and then the flower is going to wiggle out of
right.
focus.
Yeah,
if you keep on continuous, it's just going to track it. If sometimes a subject just won't focus though, and absolutely, that's where you switch over to manual, and it's trial and error. Burst mode does help you there. Yeah. I also that's the other thing. If I don't have the shutter speed, up the ISO. I shoot at ISO 8000, and then almost every image I showed you was probably taken at ISO 2000 to 8000. And I'll just run it through Lightroom's denoise and it cleans it up.
So Chris Landi, do you have anything tonight?
No, I don't, sorry.
Okay, that's fine. How about you, Jeff Giraldi?
Yeah, I have some.
Okay, let's go for
Mm,
Are we playing hide and seek again?
No,
Where's
I
Waldo?
didn't seek this time. Hopefully you see the moth on the screen. These are more
Yes.
colorful ones, or ones that stick
Nice.
out.
Yep.
So I have a big backlog of focus stacks from last season. I'll never get through them, but I got through a few. And tonight I just have a bunch where I got different views of the same specimen. So here's a dorsal view of this particular one. Let me get the,
He's got nice colors.
yeah, that's a pretty one. So dorsal, and then same moth ventral. A common species, but very pretty. Here's another of the same species. You can see a similar look to this one, but when you flip it over, it's a very
Wow.
different one.
Yeah.
Um, These are sometimes called saw wings for obvious reasons. And there's the underside of that one. And this is a really big one. This is called the imperial moth. And relatively plain underside on this one.
It's almost like he's got eyes. Does he? Do they have?
It's like owl eyes.
Yeah, they are called eye spots, and others in this group, have very realistic looking eye spots. And they're usually hidden most of the time, and then when a predator approaches, they'll uncover those eye spots. And it's often enough to startle the predator and give him a chance to get away.
Ooh.
This is a sphinx moth. And very colorful underside on this one. And these are kind of interesting because they hold their body in a really strange way. This is a side view of the same thing. Yep, so that's all I got for today.
They're very nice.
I like the fact that you can actually see them all. A lot of time for trying to find it, these stood out.
Like the 6 that are behind Jeff right now in his background.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a moth behind me now. If you can see it or not.
Leonid, did you have some photos tonight?
Yeah, I can show a couple.
Okay.
Not a lot, but just a few. All right. Do you guys? Oh no, sorry, didn't click share button. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I actually interested in opinions and kind of what to improve and what do you think about my photos. So this one is taken in Charleston. That's the bridge across Copper River, and I took it way after blue hour, or very end of blue hour, and it was very foggy evening. So it's kind of minimalist.
Yeah, and I like it, but I would get rid of the lighter part of the sky at the top, personally.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Whether you fill it in or
I might crop it to be a landscape, to be honest.
Yeah, I love the blue swirls
Yep.
below the bridge.
Yeah, that's kind of water going
Yeah.
into. Yeah, I wanted to remove this light. I think it's some kind of stadium or something, but they couldn't. It just didn't work removing it at all. Even with the eye features, it just didn't work. So I tuned it down a little bit so they're not as bright as they were in the original shot, but that's all I could do. Okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense to remove top, maybe square.
Yeah,
crop.
or just a horizontal 4x6. Like I think if you basically took almost the middle third lower, because you want all that blue water, that cool swirl.
I kind of like that it changes, like a brighter part here, then darker, then brighter, then darker.
Right.
Kind of
So
like
I would take off
layers.
because anything above the bridge is going to be very
The same kind of.
same. Yeah, exactly. Until you get to obviously the part that Jane was talking about. So you could crop it so the bridge is. I wouldn't put the bridge all the way to the very top, but have a little bit of room. But then that, and then keep all that water. That'd be
okay. Yeah, thank you. That's a good advice. Okay, next. So this one is kind of on the left side is before, and on the right side is some edges that I did, and that I took in a Seven Bridges Park, and the light was really nice, and I really like how it was going from the top right kind of side. But when I took the picture, it's too busy, and I don't know, like, what do you think? Are there any ways to kind of make it better or save it? Because the result, to be honest, not very fond of. It's kind of like, okay picture.
Yeah, I was wondering what the point of interest is in a photo. It's hard to determine.
The birch
Almost
log
that
or
birch tree, but if you did a heavy fog treatment on it, to get rid of all the distracting stuff so that you basically get some of the tree and that birch that's laying down, that might work.
Yeah, I don't really
Go there
like
when it's foggy.
to remove a lot of stuff, but yeah, I guess it's too busy. I guess, especially background is very busy. Just too many.
Yeah.
Those.
What about a small crop, just so the tree starts out in the corner exactly? Take like an inch or so off the bottom. Would that make it more interesting?
Like horizontal crop?
Yeah, cut it at the bottom of this log.
Like here?
No, just take an inch off the bottom of the photo.
Oh, okay.
About that.
Maybe.
I think the fundamental tough part when I look at this, because I am like compositionally, is that the bright part is really cool up in the top right. I think that's a part that like really drew your interest to it, that you really like. You liked how the lighting was coming through. And then it's the tree at the bottom. But because of just their almost location in the frame, they're pulling you apart. Your eyes like, do I go up to the bright part in the right, or do I go down to the tree? So there's like this tension there. And that's the part that I guess just with the composition of the image itself, that's the hard part of trying to settle almost.
So how would you compose? What would be your suggestion?
If I was standing there right now with you, my gut feeling is I might try to move left and line the tree up, narrow the tree a bit. Because right now it's almost like it's almost center composed and it's going off to the left. So if you were to step to the left a bit, and that's assuming you can, push the tree, the base of the tree there, the end of the tree, right where your where it broke.
Yeah, kind of going from the lower part.
Yeah, you want that piece
so
to
to
move
the
more
shorter in the frame, right?
exactly. You want that more to the right side, and then because you move to the left, you would still have the sun and everything would kind of line up with it. It would obviously change the lighting, so I'm making a ton of assumptions here, but that's where my gut goes.
That's cool. Yeah, cool idea. Thank you. Yeah.
What if you were lower to the ground and shooting more up towards the top of the tree instead of face on? It might draw you upwards, you know, with the birch tree and everything kind of
If you
pointing
could,
up and to the right. Yeah. If you could sit down on the ground and shoot up more rather than eye level.
yeah, if you could actually even get to the tree. I don't know if you
Yeah,
could walk up this tree.
It's a trail going right.
Okay, you
by
could
the tree.
shoot literally like put your camera almost on the tree itself or right next to the tree, so it's close to you and then extending away from you because it's gonna drop off with the focus and everything, and you're gonna have that kind of dreamy background and everything. That's at least that's what I'm picturing.
I also wonder if you didn't change the color of your sunscape to a yellow. That would make it softer and a little brighter, and people would kind of see that as a sun up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Here's kind of what I was thinking of it is to take the birch tree and lighten it up some so it kind of draws your eye more to it, and go back and darken up the top right corner, not as much as it was before, kind of halfway in between, so that your eye isn't drawn to it quite as much. And then go in and use a lens effect that off the end of that tree, you should be able to blur more of that complexity of trees way in the background and help it not be quite as busy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Good ideas. Yeah. I guess I cannot take the picture, but I can try some of those suggestions in post-processing. Oh, maybe next year I can go back there. Okay. And kind of similar. So again, kind of before original and after edit, kind of also looking for suggestions. So this one was taken in Mirror Lake near Wisconsin Dells, very freezing morning. Actually it was midday, in the middle of the day, but very freezing, 0 maybe or even negative temperatures, but very calm day, like no wind at all, and a lot of fresh snow. So I took it from the other side of the lake. So I was shooting across the lake basically, and with telephoto, don't remember what specific length was here. But what caught my attention is that tree was kind of, sun was like it was all gray, kind of bluish gray forest, and this old yellow leaves on a tree in the middle of that. So I kind of tried to on the edit on the right side, I was kind of trying to make it kind of stand out a little. But again, the what I don't like here is very busy background, which I couldn't, even though I toned it down and made it a little bit darker, but still kind of too busy for me. But what do you guys think?
Well, you don't need that white snow at the very bottom.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
But you got the leaves coming out nicely, I think. From the original to that, they're nice and bright. I mean, I see this in my own travels, and it is difficult, I think, to isolate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you could saturate the leaves a little more and make them a little brighter and make them glow a little more, then.
I think I tried it, and then they become like too oversaturated and
Yeah.
not real at all.
Yeah. Yeah, they still look real at this point.
Yeah. But if you do it even more, I think
Yeah.
it becomes not. I don't know, like how to tell it, but not. Sometimes I think they even becomes like too bright and start losing details.
The one thing I would try is, so the brightest part of the tree is the left side, and I do
Mhm.
like the pine trees that you see on the left side. To me, it's actually the right side of this tree that is the most distracting. So I would crop out the white part that Jane mentioned, and I
Yeah.
would crop the right
Crop this
side.
right side.
I would crop it all the way to where there's that branch that goes at like an angle over there, right about where your
Like
cursor
here?
is. Yeah, I would crop to about there, because what's going to happen is the tree itself, the focal tree, its trunk will then be roughly about at a third of your frame. So it'll be in a nice position. It'll put the colors of the tree more centered in the frame, the brightest part of that tree. So it'll stand out better. And those trees down in the pine trees, they'll be on the bottom third towards the left side of the frame. So I think it'll just balance things out. You'll always have the busyness behind the tree, but the elements will be in like nice places. And I think that'll give it a decent composition, and it'll draw your attention to the bright part.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's interesting idea.
I would just also bring the left side in just a little bit. Not quite to the leaves, but I, to me, that one evergreen on the left side looks kind of weird.
This one?
Yeah, you
know?
could hug it, you know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bring it in too much, but yeah, just a little.
just a little
Yeah,
touch.
okay.
Yeah.
I think you'll actually end up with a pretty nice composition that way.
I like the nice color of the leaves. I think the leaves look great.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. That's cool. Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to share, and thanks for all suggestions. They're cool.
Very good. So Jesse, you got some things tonight?
I have a few, not many. Let me see if I can do this. Shoot. I was at the hockey game too. I wish I would have, they were all facing this way, but in this picture, I like all the ice flying up.
It's a good location, I think.
Yeah, I like it. Like I said, I just wish they were facing this way, or I was
Yeah.
on the other side, but we couldn't go on that side. This one I like. I did blur the background just slightly because that was quite annoying. And of course, gotta get all these posts straight.
Yeah.
So I had to straighten them out. They weren't too bad. Usually all my pictures are crooked. And again, I like this one with the ice chips flying up. And the puck is right there.
That's a good one. I like the colors.
Yeah.
I like the action.
Oops. And this was at the tabletop shoot last Saturday. I don't know what it is. It's some type of a pod, flower pod left over.
Nice detail.
Yeah, that stuff on the mirror turned out pretty good. And I did get rid of the lines of the mirror. And some leaves. I don't think that was on the mirror though. That was just on a, well, maybe it was. I don't remember now. I don't think so. I think it was just on a black surface. That's all I have. I don't have much time to work on pictures the last week or so. So that's it.
Ginkgo leaves are always pretty neat to take pictures of.
These leaves, I only found them. I don't remember what tree they were from. I looked them up and now I don't remember.
They look
But
like ginkgo.
What was
Yeah.
that?
Ginkgo, I think.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. But they were kind of neat looking. I found them when I was out walking the dog. I'm like, oh, there's a neat leaf. Pick them up. That was it.
How about you, Ken? Do you have some things?
Yes, I do. Well, last year I didn't have any winter shots at all. So I did a couple of things this winter. I didn't do Port Washington, but I went down to the Milwaukee Harbor and I went down there to shoot the Red Lighthouse, and this freighter was coming in, and it had the nice, it was a cold day, but it had the nice mist on the water with the freighter coming in. So I felt fortunate to get that shot. And then this is what the other lighthouse down there looked like on that day. And then on another day, I went to Wind Point in Racine and photographed the lighthouse there. It was the first time I'd seen that lighthouse, and I thought it was really a very pretty lighthouse.
Nice.
I think the snow helps out the image quite a bit.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
grass,
thank you.
especially dead grass, it would be kind of a blah picture.
And then I made a bigger trip. I went around Illinois into Indiana and into Michigan, and went up on the east end of Lake Michigan from their east end, and went to do some lighthouses there. And one of the lighthouses that I wanted to see that I knew was encased in ice was in St. Joseph, Michigan. What I did not realize was that this other lighthouse is right in front of it. And I could safely walk out here. In fact, I could actually get right up to this lighthouse. But to try to get around it to get to the St. Joseph Lighthouse was something I didn't want to risk. It was pretty much all ice packed, and there was a drop off to either side. So this is what it looks like.
Wow.
And kind of what I did is, you see the little ledge on the left-hand side, I kind of, in front of that other lighthouse, I put my left foot up on this edge, and then snapped a couple shots, and then I had to crop a lot of it out to get just this, because on the right-hand side, I had part of the other lighthouse. But I got the picture I wanted. This is what I made the trip for.
It looks like Old Man Winter.
Yeah, I like all the detail you can see in the ice.
Yeah,
it was,
great eyes.
yeah, I hand holded it. Like I said, I hand held it while I was leaning over, so it was not the most stable shot, but the VR on the camera body must have worked pretty well. And then I walked on the pier now on the left-hand side here is the river, and then further left is the other side of that side has a pier also. So I walked about halfway down there, and then I was able to get this shot. And
It's a nice shot.
that too had I couldn't walk all the way down to there because there was about 10 or 12 feet of solid ice that you'd have to walk over. And I had my micro spikes on, but I've gotten to where I don't feel as comfortable as I used to, and I think that's a good thing for me at my age. Yeah, I had to darken up the soles. Well, I think this on the right below the lighthouse. I think this was a little brighter than what I wanted it to be, so I darkened that just a little bit.
Yeah.
Then my next stop was South Haven, Michigan. I wish I could have had a better angle for this one, but because you could see all the ice that's on the left and the back of that lighthouse. And unfortunately, they had all these signs in here that I probably telling you don't walk this far. So that was probably taken with a longer angle with a stronger lens.
Mm-hmm.
And this was my next stop. This was Grand Haven. That's another one with two lighthouses. This thing is a fun place to go to when the winds are strong because most of the time the winds are coming from the northwest, and so you can kind of see the ice on the one closest to the water here. And the waves are just fantastic. About 3 years ago, I was there for the waves, and they were fantastic. The only problem I had 3 years ago is that they're also known for getting snow, being lake effect snow, and every day they were getting 8 or 9 inches of snow, and I just tried to get the heck out of there while I could. The only thing I don't like about this picture is the two tones of the sky. Not sure what to do with that, if I should just
I think you should learn to like it.
okay. All right.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. And this is the same lighthouse, but I went across to the pier on the right side of the lighthouse, and I could get a little closer shot. And there's more ice on this side than there was on the other side. So I was kind of happy to be able to get that shot. And I don't know if anybody used to go to Holland, Michigan for the photo conferences that they had there, but this is in Holland, Michigan. And again, I went on the other side of the river for this shot. No ice on this lighthouse, in fact, but it was surrounded by ice everywhere, and this river did have some nice ice shards in it. So I was very happy to get out and get a few winter shots this year. That's the last one I brought with me tonight.
what time of day was that last one?
Let's see. It was probably getting closer to lunchtime.
Okay,
'Cause what I did is I took the photos of St. Joseph's and South Haven. Then I drove all the way up to Grand Haven, which is as far north as I went. I came back and shot Grand Haven in the morning, and then I drove from there to Holland, and maybe it's around 11 o'clock or so.
okay.
You were able to shoot them all on the same day?
No, I did 2 on the first day and 2 on the second day. And Grand Haven from Milwaukee is 300 miles, and so I drove a total of 300 miles on Monday and 300 miles on Tuesday. In Grand Haven, the yards and the driveways look just like the old Wisconsin snowfalls we used to get, where there's always 12 or more inches of snow on the lawns, and driveways were stacked up with the snow that was shoveled on them. And I just thought, I don't want to stay there very long, so I headed out of there.
Jeff Klug, you got anything for tonight?
Yeah, I'll show a couple rocks that I have. Let's see. Two. That's that one. And we got to get this up. So hopefully you're
That's
seeing
nice.
a stone.
Yeah.
Now this is a Crowley Ridge agate that I've gotten really into photographing stones, and I'm opposite of Ken. I don't want to go outside in this cruddy weather, so I'm spending all my time inside. But I'm running into a dilemma. I started out liking the black background, and then I made the mistake of asking ChatGPT what it thought of the image, and it likes the image, but it said change the background, and it suggested going to a background like that. So what does everybody think? Is it better with just a black background or a little more of a glow? It wanted a base so that it had the image anchored a little bit.
I like the second one here with the glow.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, me too. I think it really looks nice.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that quite a bit. And then here's another one. This one is a flower garden agate, and it's under ultraviolet light. But the black, I was doing all this stuff with the black background, and now I'm going to either dark gray with the glow behind it and a shadow. So
I
it's
like
a lot
black
of fun.
background better in both.
What was that?
I like black background better because this white distracts me.
Yeah, I personally, I mean, the gray's fine, but I like the black bear too, only because it
So the
reminds
black
me
is
of.
better on this, or if I would darken the bright highlight behind it, would that be better?
think
The
I'd like
black to
that.
me reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen the Photo Arc project, National
Yeah,
Geographic.
yeah. Well, that's how I got started with doing it with black, and then
That's what it reminds me of. It's much more. I guess it just depends what you want. This to me looks more,
Dramatic.
like you're cataloging it. You know, like
Yeah.
this is the subject, versus the other one's more. I don't know. I guess maybe artistic. I'll go with.
Yeah, this is more the artsy way, and then this would be more of a catalog way. Is really what ChatGPT kept saying too, and I'm not sure which way I'm going with these, but I'm having
Jeff,
fun.
Maybe make it not as bright then.
Jeff,
This
go
gray.
back to the other one. See, this one I think looks better with the black than it does with the lighter colors because of the lighter colors in the rocks. I think I think this one looks better on the black.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, Jeff, I wonder if you ever tried to just darken the stuff below the stone and make it darker black to kind of bring in all of the darkness at the bottom and just have the glow more at the top. I have no idea what that would look like, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's what I'm doing a black spot on the bottom. I think this one I've got the background too bright. The glow behind it is way too bright. So I think I need to darken that if I was going to go this way. Or I need to lighten this black so it has a little more texture to it and then add a darker bottom to it to anchor it. Right now it's like it's just floating, which it's
Have you tried putting it on like a pedestal?
it is on a pedestal, but it's all cut out because it doesn't, I don't have a decent background to put it on.
Okay.
So I'm creating the backgrounds from scratch. So this is a gray with a bunch of grain built into it, but it definitely needs to be darker. Now, this is another ultraviolet one. This is a Kentucky geode. But here's with the lighter background.
Oh, I like the dark better.
Okay.
So when you say ultraviolet, are you like shining an ultraviolet light on it?
Yep. Yeah, actually 3 ultraviolet flashlights. And that's what makes the stuff glow, fluoresce when it gets hit by the light. Some goes green, depending on the type of minerals that it is. Some of it goes fluoresces white and blue. That's where you get all these interesting colors. So
I think it
been a
just
lot of,
depends on the rock. Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, and it does. Some rocks don't fluoresce anywhere near like this. This one happened to have all the right stuff in it. And just to show, here's this is an opal thunder egg. And this one, I think I like the gray background a little better. It makes it stand out, I think. And this is another UV lit one. And this is just a close-up of a garden agate. I just love the patterns that you get in a rock.
Where are you getting your rocks?
Oh, I buy them from Etsy.
Okay.
A lot of them. The geodes I buy from the geode guy. They're out in Montana and they've got all sorts of different geodes. They'll sell you either whole or cracked open.
Have you been over to the gem shop in Cedarburg?
No, I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't had the time, so I'm hoping to get there.
Yeah, you'll find it interesting.
Yeah,
Did you
I'm
try to
afraid
find some on the beach?
I plan to do that this summer. I plan to hit Lake Michigan and find a lot of the agates and that would be on the beach. So,
How did you like this?
this one, let's see, this one's lit under UV light as well.
Okay, just from the sides?
Yeah, it's actually 3 lights, 2 on the side and 1 in the back shining forwards.
Uh-huh.
So this is pretty even lighting because it's a real smooth finished stone.
Yeah.
Then I got some of my weird stuff. I've taken the same images and then turned them into abstracts. This one was a UV one from that same flower agate stone that I just had shown.
This looks like petroglyphs.
Yeah. And then this is from a different agate under ultraviolet light.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and this is just a regular geode, Kentucky geode. But every one that you get, I get a different color.
Yeah.
And I think this is how I photograph them. So you can see it's on a pretty background. But I got a couple lights in the front and then one light in back that sort of helps add a little glow to the back half of it.
So when you buy these, do they tell you what colors they will glow?
No, you have no idea what you're gonna get.
Okay.
The nice part is when I get frustrated, I go out and I break a geode or two because it takes a lot of beating with a hammer to break them sometimes.
Mm.
So it's a good way
Build
to
your
get
muscles.
your frustrations out. Yep.
Now that last one, there was some wet spots. Do you wet them down before you take a picture at all? Or
No, that's just the crystals inside.
okay.
Some are real smooth looking and it almost looks like water. Others have sharp edges. I haven't quite learned the different types of crystals that are in there yet.
Jeff, have you been to the gem store in Door County? There used to be
No.
the little log cabin. They closed, and it's one of the largest gem stores I've ever seen. It's worth taking a look at.
Yeah, I've been to a gem store. I always get Ken stuck going with me when we're in the North Shore of Lake Superior. There's a nice gem store up there. I haven't gotten to the one in Cedarburg. I get most of these, online. I actually got started playing with this when we had Renaissance Fair, and we had a guy that was cracking geodes, and he had some really big ones, and I bought a bunch of them and got hooked, and then since then I just keep buying them. But I used to be a rock collector when I was young, and I stopped doing it. Now I'm getting back into it again. So it's a lot of fun to photograph and figure out different ways to light them up and that. And learning to focus stack.
Well, I'll share a few here, and then maybe we'll have time for Jim's little thing, if I can get to it. I always forget that I have all these things open.
Better.
So this is from the tabletop that we had. Joe brought a fog machine, and I think that's an incense burner, and a piece of glass. Oh, and my kitty's suddenly here, annoying me. Wants to be up.
Well, that really turned out well, Jane.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I think it was all crooked, but I was able to straighten it. And then I had some colored pencils and kind of swirled them.
That's neat.
I'll go back one. And, I just bought some flowers and had them sitting on the table and took a quick shot.
Looks like it's on fire. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It is kind of on fire. And then I went to the dog show this weekend, and I thought I would try and incorporate some people into my shots. And this fella has been a longtime member of the Smoid Club, and he used to be a professor at UW, and he was very much into programming for the Hubble telescope. And unfortunately, now he has dementia. I don't think he even knew who I was anymore. But he still comes with his wife and hangs around. And then this was the gal who was running our hospitality table. with her dog.
Did the dog eat the banana?
Maybe. He was I was going to get rid of that Green Bay Packer cup, but I was too lazy. And then they had an interesting thing. They had a selfie booth and they had this chair set up. And so these are my two friends. This is Bridget. This is Gail. The red carpet was not there. I asked Photoshop to put in a red carpet. And, I mean, I made a little outline here where I wanted it. And it really filled it in, I think, wonderfully. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. And the one thing is I let my I set it on sports. So, it was all automatic, and the ISO, the lighting in this place was not good. The ISO was like 20,000. And when I looked at it on the camera in the little square, I thought, well, it looked okay. But when you zoomed in, it looked pretty crappy. I mean, it was really noisy. But I think, that denoise did a pretty decent job.
Oh.
And then, of course, this is what I really like. I like the headshots. So this is a little Pomeranian. And this is also a Pomeranian. And the white color is not the preferred color. But, of course, I like the white color. It's a very cute little dog. He weighs about 5 pounds. I did do some blur on the background. And then, just a picture of one of the dogs, somebody's dog. So that's all I have tonight. How do I get out of this? I made it big, and now
This one, he looks an awful lot kind of like a polar bear.
Hit the two arrows that are going together here under OK. They're pointing, the two arrows pointing to, or you can hit the close button too. There.
So Jim, do you still have whatever you had, whatever you called it?
Yeah, and I can do this within 3 minutes, so nobody has to worry this is going to take too long. So let me see if I can get this going really quick here. Okay. So if everything is working right, you see this picture here. And let me just tell you what this actually is. I was taking pictures at Jeff's Renaissance Fair. These people were taken at the Renaissance Fair, but I changed the background. But I wanted to see what AI thought of this photo. Now, it does not know that I changed the background, and it presumes that I had all the ability to light these people with lights and whatever. But here's what I gave it as a prompt. I said, critique this photo with the the experience of a 30-year professional photographer with ideas of how to improve this photo. And that's all I told it. So I didn't really do a lot here. And of course, it had a little bit of humor here. It says, okay, it's going to put on its 30-year pro photographer hat. It's even got little hats it put in there. Okay, so then what did it do? Well, it started out by going through what did it like. And I'm not going to spend all the time to read this because it's not really important. But if you do read all of these, or if you take a screenshot and read them later, this would be what a lot of people would probably say. Now, the reason for choosing AI to sometimes look at this is that AI has no reason to be nice to you. And you can even tell it in the prompt, if you wish, be as brutal as you need to be. I mean, there's ways of writing that sentence, and it'll come out and say, well, you really got to do this, this, and this, because unlike friends, it doesn't care. And I will tell you, remember, these AI bots have seen millions of photos, more than you and I will see in our lifetime. And they were trained on all of these different things. So then the question is, where did I fall short? So then it starts saying, well, everything's pleasant, but it's kind of flat. That's true. Because remember, when I shot the people, they're standing in the park and I've got them under trees, and I did not bring flashlights to light them. So I had no flash. That's just the way they were standing there. So is this bot actually right? I should have done this. Yes. And again, it talks about directional light, aiming at blah, blah, blah. There is one in here that's kind of interesting because, again, if you go through all of this and you kind of look at it, it says here, there's bright foliage behind the hat that pulls our eyes away from the face. Now, I'm just going to go back for a minute so you see what it's talking about. And AI does not know this is her feathers on her hat. So it thinks this is a plant sitting on the stairs, and it says, boy, you should really remove that. Again, I give AI a little bit of leeway there because it doesn't know everything and it can't figure out what everything is. And anyway, it goes through all these different things of what I should do the framing, whatever, is it symmetrical, blah, blah, blah. And then down at the very, very bottom, it will kind of even go into uh, any sort of special things you should look at. And again, I didn't spend more than probably 30 seconds to do this. So again, if you're interested, this isn't bad. This was through Chat GBT. And all I did was, again, put the prompt in, put the picture in, said go, and it did everything else. Now, again, the warning is if you're worried that this model now will take this photo and look at it and put it in with other photos, it probably will, and you agree to that when you put it in. They do say they won't take your photo completely, but they will probably look at it and train things with it. So I just wanted you to see that. So if you're kind of wondering, you have a picture, you kind of like it, you don't know what's wrong with it, send it through this. If you don't mind, again, that these bots are looking at your stuff, and then you can go from there. So anyway, that's
It's
it.
interesting. Sean Tucker had a video like 3 months ago, exactly on the same topic that he
Good.
pushed his one of few photos through. Yeah, it had a similar observation that you have.
Yeah. And I mean, I've done one or two others in the past, but it's like, I wouldn't do this unless, well, let me give you an example. If you're going to send something in for competition, it's not a bad idea to send this into your Chat GBT friend and see if there's anything it says, if I were you, I would do this, and you can decide whether or not you want to do that.
Jim, you can also tell it to rate it or score it by PSA standards, and it will actually go through and give you PSA scoring ratings and suggest improvements to get it to be a higher score.
Yeah, I mean, again, these are so sophisticated. These bots are so amazing now that you just have to decide whether or not this is for you, and it may not be. And I get that,
But it's a really nice, honest critique. So I find it helpful on a couple of the stuff. I got hooked on doing it after Jim told me about it with some of the stones, and I was doing minor tweaks that it suggested, and it kept getting the photo better and better. That all of a sudden I looked and I had spent 2.5 hours on one photo, tweaking it to get it to something that really looked nice. And I mean, yeah, it's only Chat's opinion, but I was happy with the outcome. And it at least gives you an idea without having somebody tell you in person. It's
Right.
like Jim said, it's analyzed millions of photos, and it's just doing a complete, honest analyzation of the photo.
Jeff, is that utilizing the free Chat GBT or the paid version?
That was free.
I have the paid version. I think Jim has the free, right?
Right. I have the free, so I just went in there right at the beginning, put those two things in and said, go do it. It said fine.
And you could do it if you're not on Windows, so the Windows people can do it under, what is that, Gemini, I think. But yeah, Chat's pretty good at it. I mean, I just threw one of them in the other day, and it says judges would respond well to the impact, color harmony, and the technical quality. But to get a higher score, you should, all right, where'd it go? gave me a bunch of different increased directional lighting drama and slightly refined the tonal balance. So you need to interpret what it's saying, but I've got it so that it will actually look to see what PSA judges would score stuff at.
Right.
So that can be sort of handy, especially for wacko competitions. If you're not sure about your image, throw it into ChatGPT and see what it might score like.
Again, it's not perfect, but it is somebody that has no stake in the game, so it will say what it thinks without. And again, you can tell it to be as brutal as you want. So there's a guy that I know that's put in there that it should be ruthless and pick out everything, and boy, it does. It goes and looks for everything. So
it's always a written critique.
yes, at least what
Yeah.
this is, yes.
Okay.
But again, just put a
Actually,
prompt
you
in,
know-
make it simple. Make sure you're saying you want an experienced photographer of like 30 years that has a good idea of good quality photos and how would you improve it. And when you do something like that, it understands that exactly.
You can actually, I mean, you want to get crazy, you can, the way I've seen this is, I don't know if you guys have seen those small Kodak Charmera cameras. They're like keychain cameras. I have one here. They're like this big. It's not gonna get focus. There you go. They take terrible photos. They're 1.6 megapixels. And I was like Googling, like, just curious, like, anybody come up with like some hacks to make these images look better out of these cheap little $35 cameras? And one hack was you take a picture and then like a portrait, and then you drop the crappy image into the AI and you say, generate this or edit this image so it looks like it was taken with a SLR camera with an f 1.4 lens, blah 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 blah. And then it like gives you that crappy image, but it makes it look like it was taken with a real camera. Like it like upscales it all and it cleans it all up. It gets rid of artifacts and like all sorts of stuff. And it's scary good sometimes. Some there I pushed it to, I did the bus shot. I took a bus shot with it and I tried it there, and then there's too much going on for it to do that one. But like a portrait, it does a scary good job at that.
I guess you don't even need this crappy image. Just prompt something, yeah,
You could do that, but if you want like, you know, a picture of a person
I'm
that was there,
I'm just joking.
Oh no, but you are correct. Yeah, you could just ask for a portrait. I'll give you a picture.
You know,
I was
sometimes
just
I'll
thinking,
ask it for a background for something and it just generates a background, puts it right in, and it's gorgeous.
mhm.
Well, I needed a photo for a slide presentation I needed to do, showing kids being taught by reenactors for World War II school days. And it actually created a complete perfect picture of a couple of soldiers teaching kids how about World War II. And it's as good of a picture, it's better a picture than I would have created taking it in person. And it just did it all from a bunch of prompts. It's really sometimes amazing what it can do.
And I hope that lets people think, maybe even playing with this a little bit. You might want to try that. As you know, we do have in our competition stuff now, AI generated pictures you can put in there as long as parts of it are yours. So like the one I have here would be fine for an AI generated background, let's say. So, I mean, there are things you should play around with and try. You'd be surprised. You might get some very interesting, really neat stuff.
Yeah, it's scary what it can do.
Now, the next question
Sounds
is,
like a
can we
challenge
get,
for the next meeting.
can we get 3 different AI bots to judge the Wacko competitions?
That would be great, wouldn't it? Then we don't even have to look for people. Just
Yeah.
hire the bots.
I have
I
a
should try that
program.
and see what trouble is. It's not the quickest at judging, so it might take a while to go through 300 photos.
I have a program called Excire that does a number of things to my images. And one of them is it rates it on aesthetics. And the Excire company, once or twice a year, has a contest where they their robots use the aesthetics and other portions of the pictures to judge a contest. And that's how it's all done electronically.
Just a little food for thought, you know.
Well, it's been, I think, a very good meeting. I see some people have dropped off, but I think we did well tonight.
There were
Yep.
some very nice photos in this group tonight. Some
Yep.
great stuff.
Good night.
It was fun.
Well, maybe this is going to be the way of the future.
Yeah. All right, we'll see, I think mostly everybody next Tuesday too.
Yep.
What's our main program? I can't remember.
Jeff, what is it?
You got me.
Newsletter hasn't gone out, has it? That's usually how I remember.
Is
Yeah.
it Dan Anderson?
No,
That's
well,
Digital
no,
Forum.
that's Digital Forum is Dan Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Boy, I have no clue.
March meeting, show and tells Brian Jensen, Clint Weasel, Jamie Karnowski Davidson's doing Lens Baby.
Oh, yeah. And I haven't heard from her, so
I've met her. She's nice.
yeah.
She taught it
Lens
out.
Baby had suggested her. They're trying to get our club to do more with Lens Baby, but then they gave me the same speaker that we've gotten already. I better get a hold of Jamie because that's coming up really quick.
Well, I've got to go. We'll see you guys. Take care.
All right, Joe.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.